Well, we are stoked this morning to be joined alongside a very former face in Zagland. I'm going to go through a few accolades here. McDonald's All-American coming out of high school, SEC Six-Man of the Year at Kentucky, WCC Newcomer of the Year, a two-time All-First Team WCC selection, second team consensus All-American, a national champion, and per Twitter, a new dad. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm just recently a dad, probably one of my greatest accomplishments.
So welcome to the show, awesome, Kyle Wiltjer. Kyle, thanks for joining us this morning.
Of course, I definitely for some Zags anytime, any day.
So you've had quite the basketball journey. It's been fun watching you coming out of Portland, out of high school, 5-star recruit. You chose to go to Kentucky over Gonzaga, and you had offers from Texas, all sorts, Georgia Tech, I think. Talk a little bit about just that initial decision coming out of high school, going to Kentucky. Gonzaga wasn't quite where they are now. I mean, be honest with us. Were the Zags really in competition that first time around?
Yeah, actually, when I was about to make the decision, it was between basically Gonzaga, Kentucky, and then a wild card was actually Stanford. My mom really wanted me to go there. She was pushing it hard for Stanford because it's West Coast. But no, at the end of the day, it was Gonzaga and Kentucky. So I always laugh and joke around with people. It was like I couldn't decide, so I decided to do 2 years at Kentucky and then 2 years at Gonzaga. So I got the best of both worlds. Played for two, just arguably Hall of Fame coaches, both of them, when it's all said and done. And so getting to get both of those experience, I'm just very grateful for the opportunities.
Talk to me a little bit about just the difference between Coach Cal and Coach Few. I mean, from someone who's been around the Gonzaga program, I know Fewy a little bit, never been around Coach Cal. They seem like polar opposite guys, but like you said, two surefire Hall of Famers. Talk about the difference playing for those two coaches.
Yeah, I mean, both of them have their own unique coaching style. They got kind of two contradicting styles of play. One's dribble drive, and then Coach Few's a lot of high-low, inside-out action. You guys saw that with like me and Sabonis. Mm-hmm. But all the bigs, Kelly, Elias, all those guys. But they're both kind of similar in the fact that they've built two big-time programs, and they're great recruiters, but they also, I think the biggest similarity is they really put an emphasis on family atmosphere. Even though I transferred, Coach Calipari and the Kentucky staff, I still talk to them to this day. And then obviously Gonzaga has a special place in my heart. And in the off seasons, I always try to get up to Spokane. I love the city. So both of them just having that kind of open door policy for ex-players makes it really special, because I love going back to Spokane, especially with these new facilities that they built up.
I want to talk to you a little bit about your freshman year at Kentucky. I know that was a special one for you, winning a national championship. I mean, both those Kentucky teams you were on were absolutely stacked. That 2011 team, I mean, you had Anthony Davis on there, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. I mean, lots of dudes who
7 NBAers total, including you. Yeah,
a lot of pro talent. Team. I mean, talk to me a little bit just about that season, winning a national championship, coming right out of high school. That's a pretty solid start to your college career.
Yeah, for myself, going there, it was a very big challenge. A lot of people kind of thought that I should have just stayed closer to home, go to Oregon, Gonzaga, something like that. But I looked at it as a challenge going there with all these NBA players, and I really just wanted to test myself, and it really pushed me to the limit. Those practices were intense. You got just an incredible athleticism and length, and playing against Anthony Davis, Terrence Jones, all those type players really gave me an extreme amount of confidence when I came back to Gonzaga. So I had to sit out that whole year. People kind of forgot about me. So I just kind of used those experiences to come to Spokane and just try to bring that confidence. And, even though we came up short in the NCAA tournament, we made some great runs and made some memories I'll always remember.
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, that was, you kind of talked about it coming to Spokane. Obviously, you'd averaged, just over 10 points a game in that 2012, 2013 season before making the move. What kind of led into that decision for you to transfer? I know you made the joke about, not being able to decide, but what really did it come down to for you to make that move?
For me, to make that next step, I wanted to be a professional,
Mhm.
and I just saw the redshirt program at Gonzaga was killer, and I thought that for myself to become a better player, I wanted to get stronger, just kind of work on my body. But I think also opportunity is one of them. At Gonzaga, at Kentucky, if you're having an off night, there's 7 other players that are gonna step up, and you probably won't play that game.
Yeah.
But at Gonzaga, if you have an off night, you're probably going to lose. And so because the depth isn't as strong. I mean, now Gonzaga is getting everyone, so I can't talk.
Yeah,
but
right.
for me, like just that opportunity, I wanted to go to somewhere where there was a lot more responsibility and the ball was in my hands more. Kentucky was great to me, but Gonzaga, without a doubt, was a bigger opportunity and a bigger role. So that's the kind of the reason I transferred. And the style of play was really catered to a player kind of like played like me.
We hear a lot about this now coveted Gonzaga red shirt program. Give us some specifics. I mean, we've seen you and so many guys go through it now. I mean, the most recent one that we saw a huge jump was Brandon Clark. He comes over from San Jose State, completely changes his game. Talk to us a little bit about what we're not seeing, what's behind the scenes that's going on there that's really taking guys' game to the next level.
Yeah, they always just have killer player development, and it starts with the strength coach. Travis Knight has been huge in getting players, to just work on the not only physical aspect but mental aspect. I got stronger in the weight room without a doubt, but he also just kind of helped me, mentally get stronger too. So that it starts there. You got guys, he's in the NBA now, but Ricardo Foy, Tommy Lloyd now with Arizona. Donnie Daniels, Brian Michelson, I could go down every coach, and they really care about you as people. So they're always getting in the gym with you. Doesn't matter what time of the day it is. Like it can be 10 at night, and they'll get you in the gym and work you out. So just having like a whole entire staff that's on board with player development's huge. And so for myself, that was a huge motivator because I seen success. I knew Kelly Olynyk with Team Canada basketball, so. Seeing his transformation where he was his freshman year to senior year was remarkable. So yeah, I kind of want to copy that approach.
Yeah, man, I get that. Yeah, Kelly's transformation, that was just mind-boggling to see. But gotta ask, man, who was the guy that brought you over to Gonzaga? When you made that transfer, who was that lead recruiter on you? Obviously, so many great coaches, but who was that main one?
Yeah, I think the main recruiter in the whole thing was Coach Pangos.
Hey, okay, yep.
He was a point guard. He actually played that summer. I think. I can't remember where we were. We had a Canada team, and it was funny how the whole transfer process started because there actually was some article written on the internet that said like I was considering transferring, and as soon as that kind of got out, Kevin had asked me, "Hey, you transferring? Like, come play with me at Gonzaga?" And I was like, "Well, I'm actually not thinking about transferring. I never really thought about it." But now that you mentioned, I think we'd make a hell of a 1-2 punch. So
yeah, that you did.
Kind of thought about it, and I was like, wow, like Gonzaga really does have a good system for me. And at Kentucky, I'm not a dribble drive player. I was more so a guy that people would dribble drive too, and I would space the court at Kentucky. And at Gonzaga, to work on my post game, my just kind of shooting off the dribble, stuff like that. So for me, it was just a great opportunity.
Let's talk about the 2 years you were in Spokane. I mean, that first season, that was Kevin's senior year, Gary Bell Jr.'s senior year as well. You guys had a great season. The game that I remember is you going off for 45 versus Pacific that year in conference play. I mean, I don't care what level it is, whether you're playing in Europe, Division I, 45 points versus a Division I team's super impressive. That was a fun team to watch. You guys ended up losing to the eventual champion Duke that season. Let's just talk about those 2 years you had in Spokane. What were some of your fondest memories on and off the court?
I mean, on the court, it was so easy for me because I had just great guards. I mean, Pangos makes the game so easily. He's dominating the professional level with his ability to control the pace of a game. That was huge. But for us, I think it was that year with Pangos' team, just making it that far meant the world to Zag Nation, because I don't think not very many teams had even gotten to Elite Eight. So to get that milestone at that moment, it's I look at Gonzaga, every year they've kind of built on previous year's success. And I felt like we did that. And I think that every team after that has built another step, another step, another step. And as you've seen, 2 national championship games, it's just a matter of time before Gonzaga will claim its first national championship. And I'll be the first to say it. I think it's the program's in great hands. They're not only just getting good recruits, they're getting good people and good coaches. So I just love where the program's at, and to be a part of it. Just even if it was just a little segment of it, I'm proud to say that I think our teams helped grow the success.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, when that Elite Eight that you guys made back in 2015, I mean, there was a drought. You know, this program starts in the late 90s, early 2000s, going to back-to-back Elite Eights. Expectations are sky high, and being in Spokane at the time, you know, the narrative starts to go, you know, gosh, can few win in the tournament, you know, all the crazy talk. And it was a big deal. I mean, there was a drought going on with this program. And you look at the transformation in the last 5 years. I mean, arguably you've got the top program on the West Coast right now in Gonzaga. And just the fact that you guys did that, I think that was a huge stepping stone. But talk a little bit more about just not recruiting, you know, getting back to the Final Four twice now in the last 5 years. Talk about the difference you've seen on the court with how these teams are playing now, and a little bit infused coaching style from even just 5 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I was always talking about when I transferred, a lot of people, you know, on the East Coast would be like, you know, you're going where? Gonzaga. Like they didn't know how to pronounce the name. And nowadays, like, Gonzaga is a household name. Like, everyone knows where it is. Like, I mean, people are talking about Gonzaga as a powerhouse. We're not the underdogs anymore as a program. So just to see where the program has gotten today, it's really cool, because now players are wishing to go to Gonzaga, top recruits. So it's really cool to see. And like I said before, like, it's only a matter of time before Gonzaga will win one. They were that close this year. They were close, you know, the last couple of years. So for us, you know, just kind of watching from afar, it's fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, man. Just being, you know, on the fan side of things, got to agree with you on that. It's been just a crazy rise over 2 decades. If I could backtrack just a little bit, man, that 2015-16 season, you know, your senior season at Gonzaga, that one was kind of a grinder of a season. You know, that of course started with that game against Pittsburgh in Japan, which was just a crazy, crazy game. I believe that's the year as well. Shemek had his back injury, and, you know, you guys kind of end up sneaking in a tournament as an 11 seed. It's kind of a different situation than you'd probably been in, that the Zags had been in for a long time. Just tell us a little about that season in particular, man.
That was a really special year, and probably one of my best Gonzaga memories, because I mean, it was kind of questionable if we were going to make the tournament. So going into the WCC tournament, it was kind of a must win. Yeah. And I just remember, you know, we had a tough, I mean, anytime you play a conference tournament, when it's a 1-game season, you can lose. Like, I don't care what name you are, Duke, Gonzaga, Kentucky, whatever you want to say, like, it's tough. So we ran that tournament, made the tournament, and then we were playing against some teams, you know, Utah, another team. What was it, Seton Hall or the Seton Hall? Yeah. And they were the favorites. So we were kind of had the chip on our shoulders, and we came. It still kills me this day, like losing to Syracuse, because I think we should have won that game. But that was a fun year, and man, Domas is just an animal. Like, we got to see him at Easton College, but the things he's doing in the NBA now is just insane. So that was. Machine. Yeah, he's an animal. So getting to play with him was awesome, and, you know, Perkins, all those guys. We kind of, that was kind of a season where no one really was expecting anything, and I think we overachieved there.
So you leave Gonzaga, and I felt anytime you guys leave the program, I mean, you obviously want to get drafted, but we care way more about the fit, right? And it seemed like when you came out and ended up in Houston, that was just the perfect fit for that time, that coaching staff. They wanted to shoot a lot of threes. You know, you're a guy who's going to spread the court. Talk about that year in Houston. You got to play alongside James Harden, a lot of talent down there, Coach D'Antoni. That seemed like a lot of fun for your first year in the NBA.
Yeah, it was awesome, because I was in the draft, obviously talking to my agent, and late second round, there were some teams that wanted to draft me. And as a kid, you just always want to hear your name called. And so my agent was suggesting to teams like that wanted to draft me to not draft me at the end. Like, I think it was in the 50s. And so I was like, well, why not? Like, might as well. I'm with my family. Like, tell them,
Let's
like,
do it.
draft me.
Yeah.
He's like, no, we got Houston. They want to give you a partial guarantee, which is rare for an undrafted guy. We have Houston that is on the table. And I said, okay, whatever you think, I'll trust you. And I got to go to camp, and like you said, it was like the perfect fit. I got to just play my game, and a lot of people probably wouldn't have expected me to make that roster, but because it was such a good fit and I got to play with guys like that, it was awesome. And to be rookie in the NBA, it was a dream come true. I'm playing in Portland in front of my family and friends, getting to play in Toronto, against some of my Canadian friends. So it was just a dream, man, playing in the NBA. Even though I was going up and down in the G League and back and forth, I only played 20 games in the G League, so that left me 60 games in the NBA. So it was a dream come true.
I think the thing that's so apparent watching your game this whole time is you just love the ball. I mean, there's guys that they wouldn't go down to the G League, right? Like, everything that we saw from you is you just wanted to improve your game. You wanted to go get buckets, and you're willing to go over to Europe to do that too. And I don't think people realize, Americans think that if you're not playing in the NBA, it's not basketball. And gosh, like, you go over to Greece, Olympiakos is that program over there, the dudes who have gone through there, that's some super high level basketball. And not just that, but I've had some dudes, some friends of mine that have played in Europe. And I don't think Americans realize how intense the games are over there. I mean, Gonzaga, Kentucky, those fan bases are really into it. But, you're over in Turkey now or playing over in Greece. I mean, that's a whole nother level of fandom. And I don't think people realize the high level of basketball that's going on over there right now.
Yeah, it's insane. Like, these fans, a lot of times you'll have a club and they're just, they're huge football fans, as in soccer. And so they'll, like, tens and 15 thousands of people will trickle from the soccer game to the basketball games. And they don't know anything about basketball, but they're in the crowd lighting fireworks, smoking cigarettes, yelling, throwing flares on the court, doing stink bombs. Like, it's like life or death. They really bleed sports over here. So getting to be a part of some of these clubs over here, it's been great, because you think, once you're professional, the fun kind of dies, because college is the most fun arguably for basketball, but once you come over here, if you have an open mind, it's a blast.
That's awesome, man. It's I try to catch as many of those games as I can, and I just looking at those fan bases. It's always crazy me to see. But this is one thing we've wanted to start on this pod. Hopefully we're gonna have some more interviews going forward and stuff, man. But if I could ask, give me just one story from your time at Gonzaga and in Spokane, whether it's on the court, off the court, just one story that people have probably never heard. It could be a funny one, could be an intense game situation with Coach Few, but just give us something we haven't heard, man.
Trying to think. I think the biggest thing, as a player, I think it was, I can't remember what game it was, but when you're at the Kennel, you obviously can hear the crowd, it's insane.
Yeah.
But as a player, this is kind of just an insight of my game. If I feel like I'm getting things going and I get on fire, there was one game in particular, I think it was Arizona, and it was at home, and I just caught a hot streak, and I went from hearing the crowd noise, and for 8 minutes I didn't hear a single anyone in the whole crowd. All I was worried about was the ball going in the hoop, and I think I got to halftime. I don't remember what I had, but I had no idea. I had scored 20 points in the first half, and then everyone in the locker room was like, "Oh man, you have 20 points." I was like, "Really? I have 20 points?" I totally laughed out. So it was crazy. That's the cool thing about I consider myself a scorer. So when I get in the zone, I kind of just black out the crowd. But then sometimes I'm sitting on the bench and I'm more nervous as a fan than I am playing. Because I'll watch the Gonzaga games now and I'll be just so nervous in my apartment. I never would get nervous as a player, but now that I'm watching, yeah, I'm one of the fans, and I totally understand crazy fans now, because it is the worst being a fan.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's you get that adrenaline pumping and you're just along for the ride, right? When you're in the game, you might find that zone, you got a little more control over things, but man, watching the game, it's a little bit different feel, that's for sure.
Well, Kyle, we appreciate you joining the show this morning. I can tell you Zeg Nation is following you, continuing to watch your journey. As you're playing over in Turkey right now. You're in the playoffs right now. So
yep.
If you get a chance, make sure to check them out over there, and we'll see. I think you got a lot of ball left, man. I mean, your game's come so far, even from the time you left Gonzaga. You're 28 now. Super exciting things to come. But thanks again for joining us this morning.
And of course, anytime, hit me up whenever.
Appreciate it.